Dragon Quest III HD 2D is launching on multiple platforms: the Nintendo Switch, Xbox Series X and S, the PlayStation 5, and the PC via Windows and Steam. But of course, there's one platform people feel is being left out, primarily due to the large install base being the PlayStation 4. And I can understand that reasoning. I still see people online playing on their PlayStation 4s, and of course, like I said, that large install base. But upon conjuring up my own theories and looking at some sales, primarily Famitsu sales, there might be a method to the madness from Square Enix. And of course, I'm here to explain why potentially Dragon Quest III HD 2D is not coming to the PlayStation 5. But of course, before we dive right in, hit that subscribe button. We're getting close to that 1000 sub mark, so I really do appreciate it if you subscribe. So what exactly is this theory? Well, it conjures on the idea that Dragon Quest III HD 2D was originally a Switch exclusive title. And yeah, I know this goes against my previous theory that Dragon Quest III HD 2D was a Switch 2 launch title, but now knowing the platforms, I no longer believe in that theory. So let's explain this new theory. Why exactly do I believe at a point in time Dragon Quest III HD 2D was a Switch exclusive title? Well, for one, during this decade, we've seen two Dragon Quest titles be exclusive to Nintendo Switch: Dragon Quest Treasures and Dragon Quest Monsters. It definitely felt like during this decade they wanted to make the Nintendo Switch the home of Dragon Quest, in a similar vein to how Final Fantasy found its home on PlayStation. And even when titles became multi-plat like Dragon Quest X Offline and Infinity Strash, those games still launched on the Nintendo Switch. And moving on to my second reasoning, HD 2D titles have commonly launched exclusive on the Nintendo Switch: Octopath Traveler, Triangle Strategy, and Live Alive. And the only time an HD 2D title has been multi-plat being Octopath Traveler 2, it's still launched on the Switch. Just looking at the history, it does make sense that this game was originally going to be a Switch exclusive title. So what exactly changed? Why is this title no longer going to be a Switch exclusive? Well, to explain, Square Enix has changed their strategy. They were going for a multi-platform strategy, releasing on Nintendo platforms, Xbox platforms, PlayStation platforms, and PC. And this is a clear mandate right here. They can't skip on Nintendo, they can't skip on Xbox, they can't skip on PlayStation, and they can't skip on PC. All these titles have to launch simultaneously on all of these platforms. So when the mandate came from on top that Dragon Quest III HD 2D was going to become a multi-platform title, the team probably decided to make the least amount of SKUs while at the same time reaching to a large amount of people. They probably already had the Switch version done, so when it moved over to Xbox, Xbox One was out of the picture. It's a dead system in Japan, and elsewhere in the world the active user base was declining down, so it made sense to release on Xbox Series X and S. And on PC, Steam is a no-brainer because it has the largest install base for the PC platform. And as for the Windows version, the only reason I can guess is if you buy the Xbox version, you do get the Windows version as well. So that way you're playing on your Xbox Series console, but you want to play on your PC later on, whether via laptop or what have you, you do have that option. Which moves us over to PlayStation. PlayStation 5 definitely makes sense because it's growing in install base and it's definitely a relatively popular console. Even though in some cases, based on leaks, Sony has inflated some of the numbers in that regard, nonetheless, people are still buying PlayStation 5s in droves. But why exactly not PlayStation 4 despite the 120 million install base? Well, for one, if you develop on PlayStation 4, not only do you have to make a base PS4 version, but you also have to make a PS4 Pro version. And as of right now, in regards to the amount of SKUs we have right now, we have 6 total SKUs: Nintendo Switch, Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, Steam, Windows, and PS5. I'm assuming if they add in 2 extra SKUs, it could potentially delay the game further, and seeing how people complained about how long it's taking for this game to come out, I do understand from that perspective to probably skip PS4 in favor of getting this game out earlier, and especially when the active user base on PS4 is declining down. What exactly do I mean by this? Well, this is the concept of anytime a brand new console comes out to succeed your previous console, that previous console's active user base will decline down because they're migrating over to the new platform or just simply moving to another platform. And this is definitely the case with the PlayStation 4. And it definitely took longer for the PS4 primarily due to the fact between 2020 till 2022, we were dealing with a COVID pandemic and Sony was having a hard time getting PS5s out in the market. And you can clearly see this with the Famitsu sales from 2020 till 2022. there were a lot of cases to where the PS4 version of the game outsold the PS5 version. But then moving over to 2023, things started to change. Sony was able to get PS5s out at a more consistent rate. Whether it's them figuring out the production line or COVID was becoming less of an issue, PS5s were becoming more available, and you can clearly see, based on the Famitsu sales, that people began migrating over to the PlayStation 5. Octopath Traveler 2 is one example of this, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Street Fighter 6, Infinity Strash Drankos The Adventures of Dai, and even recently was Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth and Persona 3 Reload. The point is, the PS4's active user base began to decline down by the time PS5s became more readily available. And I'm assuming Square Enix has done the math of when they can realistically release the PS4 version, and probably felt it's not worth it. They probably wouldn't be able to make their money back on the PS4 version. And once again, they could probably risk the idea of delaying this game even further. And even then, it doesn't even need to stop with the PlayStation 4. We can take a look at the Nintendo's 3DS after the Switch launch, and we can clearly see people were buying less games on the 3DS because they were starting to migrate over to the Nintendo Switch. Fire Emblem Echoes barely sold 1 million units. Same thing went with Metroid Samus Returns. Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon sold half as much as the original Sun and Moon. And of course, the most popular example, Mario and Luigi's Bowser's Inside Story plus Bowser's Jr.'s Journey, sold so bad to the point, Alpha Dream closed their doors. This is always going to be a constant, and it does make sense to why Square Enix chose to not port Dragon Quest III HD 2D over to the PlayStation 4 when we bring it over to that perspective of the active user base. At the end of the day though, I just want to make sure people understand there's multiple reasons to why a company chose to not port a game over to one platform. And hopefully this gives you guys some perspective. But regardless, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, and don't forget to leave this video a like and subscribe as well. And you want to see more videos, do check out these videos right here. I personally think you'll enjoy them. See you guys on the next one. Take care.